Richard Hyatt. Welcome back to the Kindness Marketing Podcast. That's what we talk about here is kindness marketing, the elements of it, and give you some things to think about as it relates to it, and hopefully try to answer some of the questions you may already have as it relates to this. Dawn Renshaw is the kindness marketing expert, founder of Stony Creek Social Media, and we're back together with Dawn today. Hi, Dawn.
Hi, Richard.
Today, we're going to talk about the psychology of generosity in branding. All right, let's start with maybe what is the most obvious question here. What do we mean by generosity in branding? We're giving things away, or what does that mean?
It means that you want to give as opposed to receiving, and people look at that like if you're in a business to make money, you want people to give you money. But people want to do business with a company that gives back to their community, that they're involved in their community, that their employees are good people, that they care about their employees and their employees have good benefits. It's not just about I go in and I give you my money for your product or your service. It's like I want to know about your company, what your values are. Do you give back to the community? Do you treat your customer or your employees fairly? Do you treat your customers fair? All the things that go into being a good human. Now people want to do business with businesses that are doing the right thing.
And so we should, I presume, take some time to shed light in our marketing on those organizations we feel passionate about and maybe we do things for in the community, right?
Right. I work with a company right now that all of their employees are required. Part of their employment requirement is that they have so many volunteer hours in the community. And those volunteer hours are paid hours. So the employer is paying them to go volunteer. And they're like, well, we don't really like talking about that. And it's like, I get it. Because on some level, it might feel like bragging. But also, you have to look at it like it might encourage other businesses to step up and do the right thing.
Yeah. And so I would say this is a little bit of a delicate balance, and your client's perspective about that, we don't want to brag or
Right.
be perceived as doing that.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you come in to help them frame the message, right?
Teeter-totter it. Yeah. So like we'll take pictures of their employees volunteering. And so we don't come right out and say, hey, this is what we're doing. Look at us. But we'll say, this is so-and-so from such and such a company. And he is spending part of his required volunteer hours at such and such a place. There's a delicate approach to it because you don't want to go, hey, look at me. This is what I'm doing. But I do think that it's a way of not only shedding the kindness light on yourself, but you're also, shedding light on that company. And, because people, your company is affiliated with people, and it's like that cross marketing where you're saying, okay, this is going to hit our audience, and our audience is now going to know about this nonprofit that exists.
Right. And you've just articulated the difference between maybe what could be more possibly perceived as bragging and just saying, hey, look, here's some people we know and look what they do. And that's really the point. Why
Right.
your company is involved with them is to help show how much they mean to you and how they help in the community, giving them some accolades. Right. What triggers in our brains, I'm not asking for a clinical answer, Don, I'm just curious, what does it do for us when generosity is evident in business?
Well, it's interesting because I was part of a group called Business Network International, BNI, they call it, and they called it Giver's Gain. And so it's like the more you give, the more you get. But to me, it's, when I was a little girl, we would make May Day baskets, and you would run up and you would knock on the door and you'd leave the basket and you'd run into the bushes and you'd see them. And it was just so neat to see them, the people so excited about the baskets and things like that. But it was something that, oftentimes they never knew it was you. But it was like you got that warm, fuzzy, like awesome feeling from seeing them, and you got nothing back. And I always say that one of the biggest joys I get in my life is doing something for somebody and them not knowing it's me, or it's doing that for somebody that could never pay you back. and being okay with that.
Yeah, and there's the feeling that you get about that, and it helps stir up that giver's gain, right? That we're after. It's interesting you say that. I was in a restaurant the other day, and across the dining room there was a man with a young girl. I presume it was his daughter. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't. And my waitress was at the table, and another waitress came up to her and said, "You got the check for that table over there?" And she sort of looked at her kind of sideways.
Like,
Yeah, of
what?
course I
Yeah.
do. What are you talking about? And she said, "Somebody wants to pay their bill."
Oh,
And so she tore the check out of the book and handed it to her. So when that presumably dad and the little girl left, they would find out that their check had been paid. Same kind of thing. Not hiding in the
right,
bushes, but
right.
we don't even know who that was.
Right, right. One of my favorite things to do, and it sounds really silly, is when you're in the drive-through and the person in front of you pays for yours, and so then you pay for the one behind, you know. And I
Yeah.
remember doing it one time at Big B Coffee, and I always get the same coffee. It's $4 or $5, and the girl looks at me and she goes, "Their order's $12," and I'm like, "Sure," you know. She was just like, it's like you're getting a $4 coffee and you're paying for 12. But and again, it's that thing where that person has no way of repaying you, and I don't know, maybe I'm just a little touched, but I just get so excited, and it's $4 or $5, and yeah, it's like there's not more negativity and more darkness in the world. It's just louder, and we just need to drown it out.
Yeah, with some kindness and generosity.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
what can a business owner do to stimulate generosity and this giver's gain thing? Any thoughts on that?
Well, yes. And one thing that I talk about with my employees is that my employees are my business, they're my customers. And so if I am kind to them and treat them with respect and dignity and give to them. I mean, I get people that ask me if they can come work for me because I have one young man that works for me. He's been with me 6 years, and he gets 6 weeks paid vacation.
Wow.
And so people are like, "Can I come work with you?" But if you're stingy with your employees and you're not kind to them, how do you expect them to be kind to your customers?
I'm pausing there so you can take a minute to absorb that. But it makes plenty of sense. Now we're talking about internally, right? We're not even talking
Hmm.
about generosity toward clients or
Hmm.
customers. You're trying to stimulate a loyalty. Isn't that right?
Right, right. There's just some people that just resonate kindness, and they want to do what's right for people. They want to help people as much as they can, and it's something that I'm very fortunate to have people on staff that go that extra mile. We've had people call us at the last minute and say, "Hey, I need this. Hey, I need that." But it's something that we also learn from other business owners. I work with a local printer, and I remember one time I had slipped up and forgot to order my business cards. This was years and years and years ago. And I had to go out of town for an event. I remember calling them and saying, "Hey, I messed up. I need some business cards, and I need them like today by 5." And this was like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Ooh.
And they're like, "No problem." And it was like, whew. So do you think I will ever buy a printed product from anybody else? No.
Yeah, right. It resonated with generosity and kindness, and now you're a customer for life. So there
Mhm.
you go. Think about that. How can generosity play a role in your business? Maybe, and this is often true, right? Where we business owners are so in it that maybe we can't see it. Dawn can help us see it, and that's the point. Her contact info and link is in the show notes. Just click through and ask Dawn your own questions. After all, the Kindness Marketing Podcast, it leverages Dawn's expertise in this area. Dawn, we'll be back soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stony Creek Social Media and the Kindness Marketing Podcast. Subscribe at your favorite place to get podcasts or follow us on YouTube. Take care.